If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight, new content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde, keep on bringing the heat. Now they know that we driven, and they know we ain't quitting. Yoshi and Dr. Winner, keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know we got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Brain based learner, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma is karma, I say what I say out here underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 Clyde winners. Divine winters, Clyde winters, mind bender, Clyde winters. I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters. Give respect to the elder, Clyde winters. Somebody else they living for me. I told you somebody else they looking for me. I think there's somebody else they looking for me. I think there's somebody else they looking for me.
We have to live by my heart. We have to live by my heart. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not drank. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I have not wronged the population. I have not struck kill. I have not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about on the tongue. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against
Somebody else they looking for me.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no. I don't get a kick out of telling lies. Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no. Spent years studying the times. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Yeah, let the researcher do the research. Yeah, uniting truth and kill the lies. Let the researcher do the research. I'll learn to debunk my own craft. respect is all that I ask. Dr. Wince. I was sent here to finish my task, to become the greatest researcher, and that's who I am, Dr. Wince. Yeah. Na 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 na. Let the research gotta tell it lies. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. I spent years studying the tides. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Unite in truth and kill the lies. Be one, be one, be one. Be one to win this fight. We must unite. Stand up for the righteous and let your skin shine bright. Be one, be one, be one, be one. Lessons whispered at night.
If you're feeling a little stuck with your paper, Grammarly will always be there to provide you with new prompts, fresh ideas, and
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Hey, what day is it? Let me see. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, yeah, today is Thursday. What do we do on Thursday, family? Today is Thursday, and we are on Black History Gems. What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Karen, how you doing there, Karen? Hey, hey. Roy, what up, though? You know, Roy, I haven't seen you for a little while. You used to be in my chat a lot. I'm happy to see you back. What up, though, Roy? You what? Yesterday, we were saying the other day, we live in a simulation. Yes, that's what some people believe. Some people believe we live in a simulation. This is something interesting to me because, you know, how are we to really say that we don't live in a simulation? Because see, the world is weird. You know, I used to really like to believe that I knew everything. Yeah, I know you can't believe that, but I did. I used to like to believe that I knew everything. I used to like to believe in the sense that that everything was copacetic. Then I started doing research, and I was really doing a lot of research back in the day because I wanted to find out, you know, where the gray aliens came from, you know. And so then I did all this tons and tons of research. I was so excited, you know. I read that the gray aliens they lived in the center of the earth. Some of them was on a big giant ship circling the earth, and I was just so elated to try to in a sense find out more about these aliens. And then I got to be a little bit, you know, tired. I got a little bit sad when I found out that the aliens, this whole thing that was going on, dealt with the Great Rebellion. Was the Great Rebellion? The Great Rebellion was when the fallen angels, so-called fallen angels, came to earth, and they mated with the women, and they became, in a sense, you know, the founders of a lot of evil on this plane. And that was kind of heartbreaking to me because I wanted them to be from outer space. I wanted them to be from some other planet. Maybe they are. Yes, maybe there are some people who are here and they've come from another planet. But in most cases, nah. Most cases, in a sense, most of the aliens here are you know, terrestrial. And this kind of broke my heart. Yes, it broke my heart. It broke my heart a lot because I wanted to believe I was finding out something that was going to be just so earth shaking, so dynamic that I was going to just feel so elated and grateful. But it wasn't true. It wasn't true. You know, but But again, in a sense, is that today is Black History Gems, and I want to talk to you about being in the matrix. And a lot of people say, what is a matrix? What is a matrix? Is it real? Are we living in a matrix? This is something that's very difficult for me to say because I just don't know. You know, I want to believe. I want to believe in a sense that everything is real. But then I know that in a dream, sometimes you can have a dream and you can be maybe asleep for maybe less than 30 minutes and you can go through a week of experiences in that dream. And it's only been 30 minutes. So I really don't know if we're not living in some sort of simulation. I don't know if we're not in a sense, just thinking that we're alive, thinking that we're here, thinking that we're influencing things, thinking that I'm interacting with real people. Yes, I touch my phone, and hey, this is what makes you feel real nowadays. Is you got your phone, because you got your phone, you can contact people, you can call them up, and you can do various things. But again, I love the fact that you guys join me every Thursday. I love the fact that you guys join me sometimes when I'm with Sister Eve Henderson on Wednesday nights. Because see, I want to come and I want to share this history to you. Because see, it is so much that we need to know and so much that's been hidden from us. And because so much has been hidden from us, I really want to just share that with you. Great so far. He says that Craig so far says, the more I study with you and other research, the more I realize a lot of what I see before me is simulation. Because Caucasian is stuck here and want to shape a world that doesn't want them. You may have something there. Create so far, you may have something there. Because see, it is true that this is their world. They claim this is a place that they're trying to make benefit them. Therefore, in a sense, a lot of stuff that we hear about, a lot of stuff that we learn is not really, in a sense, consequential. But today I want to talk about, our slave names. Is that part of the matrix? What is our authentic names? Is it important to know your name? That's a holy in a sense. Your name is kind of holy. Why is your name holy? Your name is holy because the factor in a sense is that it's your name that gives you, existence. It's your name that makes you real. It's your name that allows you to say, aha, I'm a human being. Aha, I'm on this plane. Aha, I'm recognized. In fact, in a sense, your birthday, yes, 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 your birthday, the day you was born, that is a very holy day. That's a sanctified day. It's a day that is so important, you see. And why is it important? Well, it's important because that was the day that you came into being. It's important because that is the day that you became you. And isn't it important that you are you? I think so. I think it's wonderful to know that you are someone, you are somebody, and it's wonderful to know in a sense that the whole world in a sense is there, and the whole world is kind of like your orchard. The whole world in a sense allows you to be a part of this great experiment called life. Yes, yeah. In a way, I feel life is kind of an experiment. And why is it an experiment? Because every day we're being exposed to different stimuli. We have various experiences, and these experiences they structure who and what we are. You see, they structure who and what we are. But let's get started. You can go to my Patreon to see the slides. After I do this presentation, I'm going to send the slides to my Patreon. I know some people have said they haven't seen all of my slides lately, but I'm trying to rectify that. I'm going to try to make sure that I get all of my slides there so you can see what's going on. I really appreciate the people who belong to my Patreon. You guys donate $5 a week, and that means $5 a month, and that $5 a month, it means so much to me because it's that $5 a month that allows me to be able to bring these presentations to you. It's monies that allow me to do the research, get information behind paywalls. And I thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being there for me. And please Keep it up. You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Clyde Winters 8. Follow me also at TikTok.com at Clyde Winters 3. You know, the TikTok, there's some videos. I have some shorts on TikTok. These were done graciously by the genius, Yoshimod. Yes, yes, yes. Yoshimod the genius. You can view some of my shorts on TikTok, you see? And you're on my YouTube channel, Clyde Winters YouTube videos. Thank you for being here. But don't just come here every Thursday to see Black History Gems. Come anytime you wish. I've got over 400 videos here. Yes, over 400 videos that deal with just about everything theme in Black history. And this Black history knowledge is for you. This Black history knowledge is for me. This Black history knowledge is for us. Come here and learn. Have your children come here. Have them, in a sense, know who they are, because, see, it's by knowing who you are, by knowing your history, that allows you to fight CAIDS. CAIDS is culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And what CAIDS does to you is that you lose your identity. You see? Once you catch this ailment, CAIDS, culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome, you lose all sense of reality. You don't know who you are. You're lost. You're easily manipulated by the larger world. You're easily manipulated by Caucasians. But when you know your history, when you study your history, then you can't help but know and become more and more a better Black person. Also, you can order my books at Amazon.com. Check out my books. Get them, read them. They can help educate you. B1 is acknowledging your Black African ancestry and mod, not heritage. We must be race men and women proud of our culture and African Black ancestry. What is B1? B1, Black First, is unity with mod. Yes, yes, B1, Black First, is unity with mod. I'm talking today a little bit about American history. Some other books that can help you to know more about this part of our history is this: The Nationality and Law Foundation of Black Americans. Get this book. This book explains how we move from being described as dark-skinned, copper-colored, or Black Aboriginals until today we're known as Foundation of Black Americans. Get this book. Who were the Paleo-Americans? Yes, yes. These were the people who lived there thousands of years ago, 10,000 years ago. Learn from reading the Paleo-Americans why we know through genetic evidence that these are our ancestors, and that many of you, yes, many of you listening right now, carry a particular Y haplogroup, a Y haplogroup that is over 10,000 years old. And it's this haplogroup that allows us to know our original Paleolithic, Paleo-American ancestors, and it connects you to them. Get my book, The Paleo-Americans, and of course my book, The History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877. This book will help you understand our tripartite origin. What do you mean by that, Clyde? I'll tell you what I mean by that. Our tripartite origin comes from the fact that we are descendants of the Aboriginal Black people, the Black Europeans, and Sub-Saharan Africans who made it, who came together, and through an ethnogenesis, they became FBA, Foundation of Black Americans. FBA, baby. There's a very interesting video on YouTube. It's called The First Americans Were Black. DNA evidence reveals the first Americans. This video is short, to the point. I didn't make the video, but it's a very interesting video because it talks about some of the genetic research I've done that proves that your Aboriginal ancestors have always been here. Yes, yes, yes. Our ancestors have always been here. They didn't come on a boat. FBA. We are the foundation of Black Americans. Yes, the foundation of these United States. B1. B1 equals Black first. B1 equals brilliant first. Yes, yes. B1 equals Black first. B1 equals brilliant first. We are Black and brilliant. Yes, we are, babe. We're Black and brilliant. What is FBA? FBA is not a group. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestor, ancestry or pedigree. As a result, we are descendants of the Black Europeans, African and Aboriginal blacks who built these United States. Yes, yes, yes. We are the result of a tripartite, yes, yes, a tripartite origin. Do we live in a mattress? Dick Bostrom, he argued in a sense that we live in a matrix or a simulation. Philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed that one of the following must be true. Civilizations go extinct before developing the tech to simulate consciousness. They have no interest in running simulations. But we are already living in a simulation. If 1 and 2 are unlikely, then 3 becomes probable. Yes, yes, very important to understand. Do we live in a matrix? Quantum mechanics shows that particles behave differently when observed, as if the program changes when someone is watching. This is like a video game where the environment only loads what the player is looking at, i.e., rendering. Mathematical structures of the universe maintain in the sense that everything that we see is real, everything we see is material, you see? But many physicists, like Max Tegmark, note that the universe operates according to mathematical laws, so precisely that it feels coded. If the universe is based on math, maybe it's being computed. Yes, yes. Is our life, is our experiences, is our day to day, month to month, year to year, are all of these simulations, are they all the product of computations? Are they all computed? Maybe. There's glitches in reality, deja vu, Mandela effect. Digital, our own technology, e.g., VR, AI, deepfakes, is progressing so fast that it's plausible we could simulate entire worlds with conscious beings in the future. If we can do it eventually, maybe it's already been done. And are we the simulation? Strange phenomena like deja vu, feeling like you've experienced something before, the Mandela effect, shared false memories across people. These are sometimes interpreted as glitches in the matrix. I think the Mandela effect is something very interesting because the Mandela effect, it says that some of us remember events that never took place, and yet we're positive that these events did take place, even though the research may show that they didn't occur. And sometimes they say that the Mandela effect is not stagnant, that the Mandela effect is in a sense dynamic, and that you can in a sense have the Mandela effect not just once, not just twice, but many different times. And this is one of the ideas that encourage many people to believe that we are in a matrix, that we are in a sense living in a world that is a simulation. Yes, yes, yes. A world is a product of a computer, and that we are in a vast computer where the machine, yes, where the machine is dominating us. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't want to find out. I like it being just the way it is. But it is something, yes, yes, it is something that we need to maybe think about. There's the so-called anthropic principle. The universe seems perfectly tuned for life. Some argue it's because it was intentionally designed as a simulation where intelligent life was meant to emerge. The Fermi paradox. Where is everyone? We haven't found alien civilizations despite the vastness of space. If we're in a simulation, maybe aliens are not programmed in or exist outside the simulation. We also have philosophical skepticism. Descartes to the matrix. Descartes once said, and I quote, I think, therefore I am. He doubted everything, even his own sense. The matrix builds on the idea, what if our senses are deceived by an artificial world? What if our senses are deceived by an artificial world? Think about it. Carnegie Wince, known for the miseducation of the Negro, emphasized that enslaved Africans had rich cultural identities that were deliberately erased or suppressed. While he didn't focus specifically on names in a full-length work, his broader thesis argued that Black Americans had been disconnected from their African heritage, including naming practices, religion, and language. He paved the way for later scholars to interrogate European imposed identities. Yes, 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 yes. These are imposed identities, he says. Are these imposed identities that are produced in this matrix? Are they a simulation? Are they computer phenomena? Or are they really real? Are they really real? This is something that we have to, in a sense, take into account. It's something that we have to really, in a sense, think seriously about. Malcolm X, known for his speeches and autobiography, explicitly rejected his surname Little as a slave name and adopted X to represent his lost ancestral African name. This became a foundational moment in Black political and cultural thought, asserting that the names given to Black people during slavery were tools of dehumanization. I don't even know my real name. That's the reason I'm Malcolm X. Yes, yes, that's what he said. This position directly influenced later Black nationalists and Afrocentrists. Yes, it did. Back in the day, when I wrote some of my articles and I've written and in my adopted name, which was Clyde Ahmed Winters. I liked Clyde Ahmed Winters. Well, Clyde, that was my given name, and I chose Ahmed because that was it was a nice Arabic name. Well, Clyde means from the cold or winter or from the cold. Ahmed means the praised one, you know, and oh no, Clyde means to be across a river or a farm. Ahmed means the praised one. Then winter means the cold. So and therefore I felt in the sense that I'm the praised one. I'm the praised one from afar that's cold blooded. Cold blooded, baby. Clyde Ahmed Winters. He was the cold blooded from afar. Baby. Dr. Yusuf Benjo-Cannon, he's known for African Mother Western civilization. Benjo-Cannon frequently discussed the cultural and psychological effects of slavery on Black identity, including the imposition of European names. He emphasized that African names carried spiritual and ancestral meanings, which were replaced by alien names to disconnect people from their heritage. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Wasn't it? Isn't it almost true? Isn't it a fact in the sense that our names were taken away from many of us and that some of us didn't know our ancestral names? Wasn't that like being put in a matrix? Wasn't that like being put in an artificial simulation that was dominated by the computer, and the computer was a white man? The computer was racism. The computer was white supremacy because it was the white man and his racism and the white supremacy that he perpetuated that allow us to not be able to know, many of us, who our authentic names were, who we really were. You see, was this how they put us in the first matrix? Did they put us in the first matrix based on taking away knowledge of self? Did they put us in the first matrix not allowing us to know who and what and where we could go? We have to, in a sense, look at this seriously. We have to. Because, see, if we don't, then we're not going to know or understand the truth. Yes, the truth. What is the truth? The truth is, I don't know. The truth is interesting because the truth is what you define as being true. You see, this is our truth. See, but again, in a sense, it's what you make out of life. John Henry Clark, he's known for teaching African history and Pan-Africanism. Clark reinforced the idea that names given during slavery were not the true names of African people, ruined them as colonial tools of erasure. He emphasized the reclamation of African identity includes names as a part of our intellectual development. Yes, yes, yes. It is to, if we want to have intellectual liberation, if we want to, in a sense, be able to know who and what we are, then therefore, in a sense, it should begin with a name. And that's why I liked Clyde Ahmed Winters. He was heard from afar, the praised one, was heard from a father that is blooded. Dr. Malifi Kete Asante, known for his book Afrocentricity, this is a key book that everybody should read. Sunte's work in Afrocentricity advocated for African Americans to redefine themselves by reclaiming African cultural frameworks. Though not always focused on names alone, his framework implies that names imposed by enslavers are not authentic representations of African identity. Yes, yes, you have to, in a sense, even if you don't know your given name, even if you don't know the name that you had prior to your birth and the enslavement of your parents, it's very important in the sense that you understand, in a sense, that there is an authentic name for you because it's the name that gives you being. Yes, yes, yes. We are who we are because of what we are. And what we are is often defined sometimes by our names. Dr. Marimba Ani, known for Yurugu, an African-centered critique of European cultural thought and behavior, Ani described naming as part of the European worldview imposed on African people. In Yurugu, she discussed the need for African descendant people to reclaim African cultural practices, including original naming traditions. Yes, yes. The name is you, the name is me, the name is us. Know your name. Dr. Clyde Winters, me, of course. I'm known for my work on African linguistic heritage and historical identity. I argue that many African Americans descended from indigenous Black people and early African settlers. I view in a sense that there's an intersect with the idea that European surnames obscure our true heritage, including connections to African and Native American names and civilization. Yes, my research has been aimed at us trying to realize who we really are. My research has been aimed to a linguistic, in a sense, interpretation of names, interpretations of culture, interpretations of being, in a sense. And that is through understanding the connection between names and being that we can ultimately discover and know who we are. Isn't that what it's all about? Don't you want to know you? I sure do. Mulana Karinga, creator of Kwanzaa and the Ndugu Saba, Karinga emphasized cultural restoration, which included reclaiming African names and rejecting European ones. He helped popularize Swahili names in the Black community as a form of resistance. Yes, Ndugu, you know, Ndugu Saba. And so then the thing is, this is that back in the 70s, the language of culture, the language of culture for those people who were Afrocentric was the Swahili language, and many people, in a sense, adopted Swahili names, and often when we wrote our historical theses or when we wrote, in a sense, articles that may relate to our life as FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, we often, in a sense, used Swahili terms to try to give our consciousness a more African reality. You see, Alex Haley, known for Roots, he was the saga of an American family. While a novelist rather than an academic historian, Haley's Roots dramatized the idea that enslaved Africans had names and identities erased by slavery, inspiring a generation to research African ancestry. Yes, who can't forget when they saw Roots and they wanted, in a sense, to find and rooting for Kunta Kinte to know who he was. You see, that is the power. That is the power of the novel. That is the power of identity. That's the power of knowing who and what you are. Dr. Walter Rodney, this brother was a very, very, very wonderful brother. He was a brother in the sense that really, in a sense, was out to really teach us about our realities and teach us a lot of good stuff, but he died young. He wrote a book called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. Rodney discussed the cultural disruption, including language and naming, as a weapon of colonial and slave-based systems. Walter Rodney was from the Caribbean, and though not focused on Africa itself, his ideas are essential to understanding naming as an ideological control. They feared Walter Rodney so much that they killed him back in the day. Yes, yes. They killed this brother, and in fact, many of us who believed in Black Power, I know me and my wife, we my honey bun, my sugar babe, my baby doll, we did not believe for one moment that we were going to live to get old. I never thought I'd live to be in my 70s. Hell, I just knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to be killed because I loved my people too hard. And I felt that Europeans wasn't going to stand for that, but hey, I'm here. So I was wrong, you see. So, let's focus on the names as colonial erasure. Malcolm X, he rejected his own surname, and he talked about this in the autobiography of Malcolm X. Carter G. Woodson, he discussed cultural suppression. And in The Miseducation of the Negro, he discussed the fact that naming is important. Joseph Benjo Cannon, he advocated reclaiming African reality. In African Mother of Western Civilization, he wanted us to, in a sense, choose names. Make a name. Give yourself an African name. Give you, in a sense, knowledge and power. John Henry Clark emphasized the loss of African names. Molifi Akinte Asante, he believed in a sense that we should rename ourselves and try to adopt, Afrocentric naming practices that would refer to our African origins. Marimba Ani, she believed that we should be naming ourselves because through naming ourselves, we had cultural power. And in her book, The Urugu, she discussed this whole idea of gaining power by reasserting who you are and giving yourself an African name. Marimba Ani, she believed in the sense that it was naming its cultural power. And myself, I connect Black entity to ancient roots, you see. Through the numerous articles and books I've written, I've tried to encourage foundational Black Americans to believe in themselves and to know in a sense that by giving yourself a name, by naming yourself, even if you just say I'm Black, you're naming yourself, and that is through that way in a sense that you can connect your identity to your ancient roots and move forward, Maulana Karinga, he introduced Swahili naming traditions. Alex Haley, he popularized the public awareness through roots that we did have authentic names and that there was power in knowing your true identity. And Walter Rodney, he emphasized in a sense in how Europe underdeveloped Africa that we have to begin to choose to take back our names, know who we were. You see, we can see Walter Rodney, he's from the 60s to the 80s. We see in a sense that Carter G. Woodson, he was advocating this back in the 1920s. Malcolm X, a limited amount of time, 50s and the 60s. You see, and so again, on this chart, you can see in a sense how long these particular researchers, Walter Rodney, Alex Haley, Maulana Kaninga, Clyde Winters, Marimba Ani, Molifi Kante Asante, John Henry Clark, Joseph Benjo Cannon, Malcolm X, and Carter G. Woodson, you can see the timeline of these Black scholars discuss the influence of ideas about slave names. And if you notice, one of the earliest advocates of this was Carter G. Woodson because he was back in the late 1800s talking about the need for us to know who and what we are and have our own names. So this is something that we need to really think about, and we need to really know more about who and what we are. We know that slave names do not reflect the true identities of enslaved people for several historical, cultural, and linguistic reasons. These names were often imposed, recorded under duress, or stripped of context, and they serve the interests not of the enslaved person, not of the Black man, not of the Black woman, not of the Black child, but it served, in a sense, power to the enslaver, you see, not the enslaved. It was the enslaver who gained power by naming you. It was the enslaver who, in a sense, even if you knew your name and you wanted to be called by your name, he made you recognize the fact that he was not going to call you by your name. He wanted to name you because, in a sense, by him naming you, he was stealing away a little bit of your power. Yes, there's power in the name. And it's even more power in that name is the name that you deserve and that is rightfully yours. Enslaved people were routinely stripped of their African names upon arrival in the Americas and were instead given names by plantation owners, overseers, or clerics. These names served as tools of dehumanization. treating people as property, control, making them easier to catalog and discipline. There was cultural erasure because you was cutting them off from their African heritage or their Aboriginal heritage, you know. Enslaved individuals often renamed after European figures, biblical characters, days of the week, e.g., coffee for Friday, or even after the owner. Yes, yes, yes. Ulanda Equiano, an Igbo man, was renamed Gustavus Vasa by his British enslaver against his will. You can see Olauda Equiano. You can see his picture on the left-hand side. In most West African cultures from which many enslaved people came, names carry deep spiritual and social meanings, often linked to lineage and clan, day, or time of birth, personal attributes, or fate. Deities of ancestors, enslavers did not preserve or recognize this system. As a result, enslaved people's original identities were erased in official records. Some of the African names, for example, was Kwame. That was for a boy born on Saturday in Akan. Makina, happy one, that's a Kikuyu word. And Ayodele, joy, has come from the Yoruba language. Yes, yes, yes. African naming traditions were suppressed because when you know your name, when you have a positive relationship with your name, when you have this gives you a positive identity, and by giving you a positive identity, it ensures that you're going to fight for truth, justice. Records reflect the enslaved's identity, not the identity of the enslaved. This is why so many African American surnames today match those of prominent white families in the South, e.g., Jackson, Washington, Jefferson. Most documentation from the slavery era, such as census data, bills of sale, or plantation ledgers, identifies the enslaved using the surnames of their owner, not their original heritage. After emancipation, many Black Americans carried the last names of their former owners, not by choice, but by necessity. But you know, the one good thing about knowing your name is that often the enslaver, you know, the slave mistreaters. These people, in a sense, they would record these names in their ledgers. They would record these names in state documents. These names would be in court cases. So often, in a sense, because of the fact that you did have a given name, this is one of the reasons why Black people in America, as opposed to Black people in the rest of the world, can search their identities going back maybe 400 to 500 years. Yes, yes. They can go all the way back to the 1700s and maybe beyond, by the simple fact, in the sense, is that their names were written in these ledgers and that their names were in these plantation records. And by finding your names of your ancestors in these plantation records, you can go back further and further during the period of slavery, and sometimes you can even go back even further than that. You know, that's one of the things I like about some of the main researchers who are in that field. Much of the stuff that we know about slavery comes from the testimonies of formerly enslaved people. You know, during the 1940s, you know, they spent a lot of time collecting, in a sense, enslaved people narratives during the Federal Writers Project, 1936 to 1938. The Federal Records Project recorded interviews with formerly enslaved individuals. They include frequent mentions of name changes. Many recall being renamed multiple times. Others remember family members by African names that were lost. Some deliberately changed their names after emancipation to assert independence. I quote, "My name was Dinah, but they call me Caroline too. My mammy named me Dinah after her mammy. But that white woman say I look like a Caroline." This is from a WPA slave narrative. So Black people knew their names. And even sometimes, as you can see, even though their masters would give them new names, they might respond to that name. You know, if their master or mistress called them, but often they had their own names and they knew their names, and these names were given them by their parents. This is interesting. Just think about this. See, this is something that has to be recognized, you know, and this is something that you should really keep in your heart. And what you should keep in your heart is the fact is how important it was sometimes for that enslaved person to remember and keep the name that their mother chose for them, you see, and not always allow the European through its oppression, through the trauma that he caused us during slavery, to lose their identity. Because see, your name is your identity. Your name tells us who and what you are. Black power and Afrocentric movements of the 20th century, including figures like Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Assata Shakur, openly rejected slave names as false identities imposed through colonialism and slavery. These movements were grounded in the belief that true identity must come from one's people, not one's oppressors. Cassius Clay, he called himself, in a sense, Muhammad Ali. And we know that Malcolm Little called himself Malcolm X. Yes, yes, yes. Cultural resistance. Yes, cultural resistance was often, in a sense, an indication of, in a sense, renaming yourself or giving yourself an authentic name and not a name given you by the massa. Historians, linguists, and anthropologists such as Dr. Malifi Kadi Asante, Dr. Walter Rodney, Dr. Miriam Ani, and myself have documented the linguistic rupture caused by slavery. These scholars showed that African names were encoded with cosmology, meaning, and ethnic origin. Enslaved people were removed from oral traditions that preserved naming systems. Reclaiming original or symbolic African names is a form of cultural healing and historical truth-telling. Yes, 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 cultural healing, you see. This is something we have to take into account. Slave names were instruments of oppression, not reflections of identity. They were not chosen by enslaved people. They did not reflect our ancestral lineage, and were often deliberately designed to sever our ties to Mother Africa. Recognizing this fact is not just an act of historical clarity. It is a step towards reclaiming our stolen heritage. Yes, we must reclaim our stolen heritage. You see? Scholars like Malimfi Asante, Dr. Clyde Ahmed Winters have argued that African names restore dignity and cultural orientation. Names are connected to history, cosmology, and language. Renaming is part of healing from historical trauma. Afrocentric naming traditions often use Swahili or traditional West African names to reconnect descendants of the enslaved with their African heritage. Yes, yes, yes. In conclusion, slave names were never the true identities of African people. Don't you ever believe that. They were imposed tools of domination, intended to erase our culture and heritage. By reclaiming our original or symbolic African names, the descendants of the enslaved assert autonomy, recover suppressed histories, and reconnect with ancestral identities. Naming, therefore, is not only cultural, but revolutionary. Yes, yes, yes. It's revolutionary to seek out a name for us yourself. Again, if you want to find out more about the history of Blacks in America, get my books, The Nationality and Law Foundation of Black Americans. Get my book, The Paleo Americans, the first foundation of Black Americans. And of course, get my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877. All of these books are available on Amazon.com right now, this moment, this minute. Order my books. Get these books. Make them a part of your personal library. Make them available so that people can learn their history. You can learn your history. She can learn her history. He can learn his history. How all of us can learn our history. Thank you. You see, our names are more than just words. Our names allow us to know who and what we are. Our names give us purpose. Our names give us meaning. Yes, yes, yes. That's what it's all about, is gaining meaning. And the way we gain meaning is by knowing who we are, what we are, you see. Thank you very much for joining me this Thursday. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Yes, 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 yes. Join us next week. Same time, same place. 3 p.m. Black History Gems. Take care. Love you.
Supplemental mental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you spent bread on a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Create animation from a book. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Mexico. Black history gems essays. Black history gems essays. Black history gems essays. Black history gems essays. Let's time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you read a real book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Just don't forget to give thanks to the author who put time into the book. Thanks. Black history gems essays. Black history gems essays. Black history gems essays. Black history gems essays. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. Can you remember from a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Just don't forget to give thanks to the author of the book. Thanks. Black Neanderthals and the white race. Origin Black Neanderthals.
Free your mind, let it go. To the top, drop it to the floor. Take energy, coming like whoa. Spring water, let it go. Free your mind, let it go. Tap in, go, let it nigga know. Hey, let it nigga know. Let it nigga know. Energy, coming like whoa. Spring water, let it grow. Free your mind, let it go. To the top, drop it to the floor. Energy, coming like whoa. Tap in, go, let it nigga know. Hey, she told me go and put it in her heart. I told her I don't wanna break it all apart. Let me be a night light in the dark. Hey, my nigga shine bright with the art. Gemini 2-time, know it's hard. Got the stars on the line with the charts. Big dog, so I gotta leave a mark. Free your mind, cause I'm not that smart. Hey, energy, coming like whoa. Spring water, how did that grow? Free your mind, let it go. To the top, drop it to the floor. Hey, energy, coming like whoa. Spring water, how did that grow? Free your mind, let it go. Tap in, go, let it nigga know. Hey, let it nigga know.
Language and literature. Language and literature. Language and literature. Language and literature. Nice. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you spent bread on a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Create animation information from a book. Oh, with language and literature. 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 See why he's the World Wide Web warrior. See why his research is undefeatable. See why he's a World Wide Web warrior. His research stands undefeatable. If you learn something new, then subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't just come for the views. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you spent bread on a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Create animation from a book. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Mexico.
Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the research. Dr. Clyde Winters, let him do the research. We need more researchers like Dr. Clyde Winters. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, we don't understand that it takes people who want to do research to be able, in a sense, to tell us our history. Yes, many people have taken my course, The Afrocentric Researcher. You can take it too. All you got to do is join. But if you don't, in a sense, join, understand that it's through your hard work, through your persistence, that you can become a researcher. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the researcher. You know what? I've written some books that can help you to be a researcher. Those books are Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentric Studies. Yes, yes, this book is an important book. It'll help you learn all about your history. My other book is Afrocentric Researcher by Dr. Clyde Winters. This book, in a sense, is the most important book that you will find. What makes this book important is that the Afrocentric Researcher provides you with a course, yes, provides you with a course outline that tells you all the things you do to be a great researcher. Yes, get these books, the Afrocentric Researcher, and in a sense, get my book, Pathfinder. These books are the books you need to be successful, the books that will make you a great researcher. Get these books, but let the researcher do the research, but you can be the researcher too. Our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes, yes. Wars between Black Indians and whites were manufactured to produce Black slaves for whites. The English, the French, and the Dutch provided the Native Americans with guns, rum, and cheap goods to purchase Native American Indian slaves. Between 1670 and 1720, many Black Native Americans were enslaved. The Black Native Americans were sold into slavery throughout the 13 colonies, Mississippi Valley, Canada, and the British West Indies. The majority of Black Native Americans sold into slavery by whites and Indians. Slave traders were the Choctaw, the Yamasee, and other Carolina tribes. Yes, yes. Many of these tribes, like the Mandi, Mandinga, many of these tribes, we lost their names. And their names have been lost to history because of the fact, in a sense, that when the European came, as he conquered these Black Indians, he just made them slaves. And so over time, in a sense, their nations disappeared. Over time, in a sense, their history wasn't recorded. Over time, they were even able to deny that Aboriginal Blacks even existed in America. They wanted to give our Aboriginal ancestors gifts. And the only problem with the gifts that they gave us was that often these blankets that they gave us carried smallpox. Yes, diseases. They also, in a sense, gave us another gift, rum, fire water. And this rum caused an addiction among us. And in a sense, it led to a demand for guns because it incentivized it incentivized Indian slave trading. Yes, the first slaves sold in America were Indians, black Indians, selling other black Indians to Europeans to work on their cotton, not on their cotton plantations, their tobacco plantations, their rice plantations. Yes, yes, yes. We sold each other over here, just like in Africa, because of the fact is this is that we failed to understand that we are one, we are one, we are one. We should be united based upon our identity and our culture as black foundational Americans. Yes, yes. Reparations, baby, reparations. We deserve reparations. We deserve reparations like yesterday, not just today. No, not just today. We deserve our reparations. Give us our money, baby. Cut the check.
Cut the check, black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less, remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. Cut the check, black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less, remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for.
The only thing that can save you is be one, be one, be one. To fight Cage, you must stay.